Hey there, this is Heimdall's Watch, brought to you by Isolated City Gaming. This episode is brought to you by the $6.30 we found stuck between the couch cushions. Now, on with the show. Last session, you guys met the new and improved Sigrun. How'd you find that?
Did you do something with her hair?
Really nice.
Oh, I didn't actually describe her hair, but I imagine it's got a real sort of like dark vibe to it now.
You did. Yeah, that was her general sort of look.
Oh, she got bangs.
And just really bad bangs, like this is the sort of bangs that you do yourself because you're in,
Quarantine.
You're
My
in
sister
quarantine.
did that, yes.
Yeah, someone put a bowl on my head and cut across it. That sort of like no. I imagine it's.
I imagine if she had like sort of flowing locks before, I imagine she's now got the very plastered back, like really severe, like slicked back and tied very tight in a bun sort of thing. Very
no nonsense.
Yes.
Yeah. She was already fairly no nonsense sort of character, but this time it's now no nonsense, and I'm gonna kill a motherfucker.
Well, all right. Well.
But yeah,
take away all the subtext, why don't you, Ryan?
Subtext was taken away in the next little bit when, a monk was basically fucking put through the Will It Blend Tech blender, and another the high master of the monastery sort of slowed her down long enough to let you guys escape with Brant, inverted commas.
Oh, I get it, because it wasn't Brant.
Yeah, it wasn't Brant.
It's never been Brant. All this time.
Well, yes.
Yes. Yeah?
Confirmed.
Brant never existed to begin with.
Yeah. Well, Poppet kind of knows that for certain, where I don't think the rest of you guys know. But Poppet hasn't been particularly... It's not that he's been... intentionally obscuring the truth. It's just more just it hasn't really come up in conversation.
Well, no one asked.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, hasn't come up in conversation.
Just like no one asked if Sigrun was alive. If they just ask.
Yeah. You ask the right questions, you'll get answers. But,
Good thing I'm around to ask questions.
yeah, you were then introduced to the character that has been masquerading as Brant for the last little bit, who is the trickster god Loki.
He's a god of mischief.
He is.
And lies.
And lies.
And he lied to
And
us.
lies. How
And which part did he lie about?
About who he was. And he was pretending to be someone else.
Fair. Yeah, that is true. He did do that thing.
He did lie to us.
He did lie.
Definitely deceiving going on at the very least.
Yes, there is a bit of that going on. He admitted that that Odin is currently in a place that you guys can't find him, and no one will be able to find him, and that.
And because of the dumb shit Leland did in the service of the librarian, he sort of Ragnaroked things, and that was what Loki wanted him to have done. Wanted to have happen. Have happened and will happen again. It's the whole cyclical nature of the whole jam.
Well, it was the whole cyclical nature.
It was.
The
Loki then departed. Well, sorry. First, Poppet departed after drawing a card, drawing a card from the deck of many things, which was the Void card, whisking him off into a void-based prison of my choosing.
It was one of those like drawing that card was a void if removed sort of tag.
Yeah, and he is voided and removed. Thank you, Ross. That was really good.
Thank you. I was quite happy with that one.
I imagine. Yeah. You, Poppet, awoke in a dark space as a prisoner of a dark gentleman who introduced himself as a Nyarlathotep.
Gesundheit.
It also sounds like I'm almost going to say Nyan-Cat, and that's a completely different character and probably more horrifying.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
is a different character.
I would be a lot more uncomfortable if I was introduced to Nyan Cat.
But yeah. You, Leland and Hana opened up a ley line pathway to head to the gnome village to sort of get out of Dodge a little bit and try and sort of regroup a little bit. Taking Poppet's unconscious, comatose form with them. And during
For entirely respectable reasons. Not for anything weird.
Not this time, anyway.
Not yet.
Not for any Weekend at Bernie's style shenanigans.
I hadn't imagined the Weekend at Bernie's angle on it. Probably this could turn out to be a quite entertaining session that I had not really planned for. Like,
Especially when there's magic backing it up.
during your travels through the ley lines, you notice that Poppet's form actually sort of moved or had some sort of like
Yearned.
yeah, a yearning to go down one of the darker paths. One of the ones that you've been warned against and definitely get a real bad vibe from.
So naturally we're going to do that thing right away.
Well, that's where we are now.
Right now?
Right now.
Right now.
You're at a crossroads in your life, Ross.
You are at a crossroads in your life,
Leyland.
and it could. Ouch.
Leland has resolved to he's gonna fix this thing. He just got told that he brought about the end of the world, so he wants to try and fix this thing with Poppet right now.
So I can
To
come
be
back
fair,
and experience
we
the end of
kind
the
of
world.
always knew that you were probably going to do it.
Look, it's
Ouch.
news. This is news to Leland.
I mean, if anyone on the group was going to bring about Ragnarok,
I was elected most likely to bring about Ragnarok at my high school
Yeah, see?
in my yearbook. I just thought it was a friendly ribbing.
I was voted most likely to never go to any reunions, and so far, living up to that.
Nice.
So, Leland, cradling the fragile form of his unresponsive friend, strides boldly into the sticky tentacle mess.
Sticky tentacle mess. The black morass as it is. Oh wait, no, that's an actual place that is probably. So sorry, Blizzard, don't sue me.
Too late.
we can get that in the edit.
Totally metal.
But yeah, you are venturing into this pathway, which is very much not the way that you guys had planned. And this is where Leland is leading away from the path that Hana was leading before. I'm assuming you are following, Hana?
Nah. Oh, wait, yes.
You're a
Okay.
strong, independent woman. You don't need no man.
I do what I want.
Yeah, going into the thing, into the bad thing.
Into the bad
feet,
place.
Putting feet into the bad place.
Okay.
Do
Ross?
I die? Am I instantly consumed?
All three of you, can you please roll me Constitution saves?
3?
Again, just playing to my strengths.
Not even bloody there, mate.
Your body is.
That's where your constitution lives.
Yeah.
17.
22.
Show off.
I got a good constitution.
I don't.
A number. I told you it was a number.
I'm sure it is. And I'm
confirm what
judging by
number.
the fact that you're saying a number, and I'm assuming it's not two numbers put together that are making a total number.
Numbers. It's numbers.
It is actually numbers? Is
No,
it
it
only
is 9.
barely numbers?
No, it is not even barely numbers. It is 9.
There we go. So it's number. Singular.
Numbers. Many number makes it numbers.
Okay. Leland, you move on completely uninhibited. You do
Damn.
you do see like some like because this whole pathway it looks like an overgrown, like dense, old, dark forest. It's black, sickly looking vines and brambles, and they are it almost like each of these little vines and everything are sort of reaching out and trying to grab you as you walk through. You walk through with no issue whatsoever. You see a few of them try and sort of catch and grab at Poppet's form, but they don't seem to get any purchase. Hana, on the other hand, takes 9 points of psychic type damage, and
Oh no.
now is treating this area like rough terrain.
Cool. I am having difficulty putting that into my character sheet, but I will try and do it later.
Okay. Ross, you are sort of... Leland.
That's my name.
That is Leland. You are sort of, striding on ahead and sort of moving with intent and sort of focus towards essentially the compass point that is Poppet. Hana, you see Leland's form just sort of like moving further and further ahead of you as you're sort of struggling against these brambles. Like every now and then you sort of catch your foot against like this loop of a root that moves past the moves across the pathway, and you're like all your cloaks and various garments are getting caught up in brambles and thorns. You are having a real rough time of this.
Oh, joy.
And yeah, you begin to see Leland sort of just getting ahead of you quite quickly.
Hey, wait up, you jerk. Please.
Leland, can you roll perception, please?
Oh, wow. It landed on an edge. That's weird. Oh. I got a 6.
You hear this sort of like muffled voice, just ever so lightly on the wind, just in the distance. It's just like, "Oi, yeah,
Jerk.
sure." You turn backwards. Can you give me another perception roll? This is visual based.
16.
You look back and you see Hana, and she is quite severely caught up amongst these vines. Like they are sort of, some of them are actually like you see them sort of visually beginning to sort of block her form out, just by how much they're sort of growing in towards her. You also notice that she looks almost like half a mile to 3/4 of a mile away.
Oh, wow.
That's really far away.
That is really far away, considering this has only been like a minute or two since you guys took off. The distance between you is unnaturally large, considering the time.
Nothing makes sense here. I don't like it. I want to go home. So I go home. The end.
But you are home.
Oh.
That was fast. Lay down and die.
I'm going to grab a rope from my sort of pack thing, and I'm sort of trying to juggle getting the rope out and still hold on to Poppet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm holding the end of the rope, and I'm like, I'm about to cast Mage Hand on it to sort of start moving it, but then I like sort of stop myself, and I'm like, magic. And then I'll sort of set Poppet down at my feet where I am,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll get my crossbow out, and I'll sort of try and tie the rope off to the crossbow bolts,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll try and shoot the crossbow bolt to like near where I see Hana disappearing into.
Okay. This is going to be well and truly outside of its effective range, so you're going to have to do like a real arcing fire shot and hope for the best.
Yeah, I'll like try and like overshoot it on the arcing fire, and then like the rope will sort of come down. Although I don't know if my rope is half a mile.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Roll me an attack roll against the area. At disadvantage, obviously, because it's definitely outside of your effective range.
I'll just equip my crossbow very quickly. Sorry, I haven't had to use it in a very long time.
I didn't even know you had a crossbow.
Yeah, I was about to say possibly ever.
It was in my starting equipment. I used it as a cover when I was pretending not to be a wizard in like the first session.
So it's been a prop at best.
Yep. I imagine it is like at the very bottom of my pack.
It takes a bit of digging.
It's down there with a couple of very expired Panadol and
a very moldy banana. Very soft, very squishy.
Sandwich? When did I get a sandwich?
Oh, that's
It's
not
still
a
wrapped in the
sandwich
cling
anymore.
wrap, but it's
Oh.
green and black. And
Oh, that's not Vegemite. It looks like Vegemite, but that's not Vegemite.
that used to be ham.
All right, a roll with disadvantage.
Yes, please.
2 natural 20s.
There's a 1 in there, so that will be the one we'll go for.
Hannah,
Yeah.
can you roll me a dexterity save with disadvantage?
Disadvantage? What did I
Yes,
do?
you are, got caught up in brambles and so forth.
Oh, yeah, that thing.
I think you got a number again.
I got no. With disadvantage, 20.
Hi.
You are left standing, hanging on to probably still about 2/3 of your rope. And it has gone taut because it has hit something that is directly behind Hana, who is now maybe 30 feet in front of you.
I'll psychically say to Hana, weird stuff's going on. Maybe grab that rope.
Yes. That make this. Yeah, yes. I'll just grab the rope, just kind of like do the whole like you around the wrist type thing.
Leland, can you give me another perception check, please?
4.
4.
Ask me if I've added my skill number to it, because I don't know how to play Dungeons and Dragons.
I won't, because I think you're setting me up for a situation where you just say 4 again.
No, it's look. It's just.
it's actually
just-
less.
It's fine. I have a +1 of perception. That's it. It's just look, man.
So you rolled a 3.
Yeah. It's just, the number of times I've like rolled a low number and someone's gone, "Did you add your thing?" I'm like, "Yeah, because I've actually played."
Because we played this game for 4 fucking years. You don't see Poppet at your feet. Or anywhere near you. And James has literally fallen off his seat.
God damn it! You lost Poppet again.
He was here. He was here. He was at my feet. Now he's not. Oh well.
Nope, don't go back.
I'll pull in.
Sweet.
I'll pull in Hana.
Yep. If you guys can give me just like combined athletics.
Combined athletics.
13.
14.
Okay. It takes you probably about 4 or 5 minutes to drag Hana through these brambles, but you manage to.
And imagine not laying on the ground, being dragged across, like going, "I refuse."
It's like a cat on a leash.
Yes.
No. Now, Hana, you do wear like a traveling. Wait, you wear like a traveling cloak, don't you?
Yes.
You
Sure.
don't anymore.
Oh no.
That thing is just ripped to shreds.
But it's magical.
Don't you have are you talking about the null cloak?
I don't know. Yes, I show him. Yes.
I don't think you're wearing that all the time. I'm pretty sure that's a very specific time moment.
Well, it's always there's just the hood that goes to the top, isn't it? Like the cloak itself you wear normally, and it's just only the cloak you put on to activate the magic abilities. I don't think I've ever said, "I now change into my magic. You can't see me cloak," and use it briefly, then take it out again. I don't think so. I think there's always just worn. It's just like a magical thing. I would have thought.
Okay. Fair. As you're dragged through, the clasp comes undone.
Why'd you have to argue this, Goiter?
Well, that's what's supposed to be wearing though. Like, why would I not be wearing a cloak?
But yeah, the clasp comes undone, and the cloak is left pinned up amongst brambles behind you as you're dragged through.
Cool.
You get on the way back, it's fine.
Now it's gone. Remove.
It's wherever Poppet is now. It's with
Maybe
Poppet now.
maybe just unequip for the moment. Don't remove it entirely from your inventory. It's like delete character, just fucking burn it all to the ground. Fuck it all.
Apparently, shit can just disappear now.
Flicks a big lighter, like. I thought you were using D&D Beyond. How did you even get this?
Why is my tablet on fire?
So, hi. How,
So you are both back in close proximity with each other.
Now, Poppet was right around here. I put him down for a second to save you, and now look, I'm feeling a bit off today.
So where's Poppet again?
He was here, and
But he's
now he was here.
The pair, you can give me a hearing-based perception roll.
Ooh, I got an 18.
I got a 16.
You both sort of hear it. You hear the sound of like creaking timbers and and the sound of like vines scraping each other, next to each other, and that sound you always hear in every sort of like jungle, creepy jungle movie with like the stretching vine sound. You hear a bunch of that, and it draws your attention to a form being dragged down the pathway by vines, which is just Poppet, like limply. Headless, sort of lulled forwards, but the rest of the body is just being being dragged like with vines wrapped around the chest and waist. Legs
Follow
are just
that
sort of
idiot.
But it is being
That's what I
moved
was
along.
doing the entire time I've been here.
Hey.
Hey. Too mean.
Let's go.
Yeah,
What do you-
let's go. Let's go after Poppet. Blindly.
Okay.
Blindly and with reckless abandon.
Okay.
Because going carefully is like just boring, and I don't feel like doing that in this place. It's a very dangerous place. It is.
Okay. Who is going first? This is not a path you can walk to. Oh, okay. Aside from Poppet, who's going first?
I'll go. I'll
Asshole, raise your hand. Can you roll me survival, please?
No. Oh, all right. I got a +1 in survival.
Nice.
So, you know how I'm a half elf, right?
I'm aware, yes.
That
Is
is
it
half halfling.
Is the other half halfling.
So I take it...
Because then I could re-roll this.
So I take it your total is 2.
Or a critical fail, if you would prefer.
Yeah,
Critical fail if you're nasty.
I am a nasty boy.
That's this episode's title.
Ryan's a nasty boy. Okay. You are following Poppet for a few minutes at least before he is just swallowed up
And we
by the
go
undergrowth.
1,000,000 miles and we've lost all our equipment.
There's
We're now 2,000 years old.
and completely naked.
But you still have the ring of animal friendship, and that's all that
Yes,
matters.
I do. You can't take that away from me, you bastard.
And you've only got 9 fingers left because the ring of animal friendship just really didn't want to let go of that finger, but it was going away from the rest of you.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I'll take
No.
it.
You lose the trail of Poppet because he is sort of swallowed up by the undergrowth and sort of whisked away at a real supernatural speed for plants.
There's some Evil Dead shit going on here.
Yeah, it's real Evil Dead shit going on.
Oh no. I don't like
It's
this at all.
it's fine. We'll have a guy there cut his own hand off and then put a chainsaw on the stump. It'll be fine.
It'll be great.
Holy shit! I got a character to put together. Poppet. You are still in your restraints.
Am I still with Nyarlathotep?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, basically, we're taking off where the conversation ended.
When
in
he
the
gave
last
me his
session.
name.
Yes. So, I have given my name. You are
Poppet.
Mr. Perrin Hilltopple.
Yes. My friends call me Poppet.
No one calls you Poppet. Oh, I get it.
I don't believe I'm going to be one of those.
I mean, we
Rude.
could get to know each other.
I will be calling you Perrin.
Okay.
How is it that you have found your way here?
I was hoping you could tell me. 'Cause I was just with Loki. And then...
The fool child has let you here.
No, he was doing his own thing. I had a deck of cards. Cards. I got it in a gnome village, a few months back. They do this, like, competition thing during the festival, where you earn opals across the course of the competition. And they had this running race that I got first place in, which was really fun. I'm actually quite speedy, and I'm gonna give him the whole story about this, and I'm going to expend a bardic inspiration to try an enthralling performance near Nyarlathotep.
Oh, I love it.
What does that mean?
He has to make, sorry, let me pull it up. He has to make a wisdom saving throw. DC 15. I think he's gonna
What?
pass.
He does.
He has no hint that I tried to charm him.
Okay.
But I tried.
You certainly did.
I recount the story of the Gnomish village. And all the fun activities we did there.
And the festival games where
Yes.
you won a deck of cards, which you, for a longest time
And
you
a
did
choose your own
nothing with.
adventure story and a ring of animal friendship. That led to my pet cat.
Yes. And how has that led you here?
Well, I drew one of the cards, and then I was here, so I assume it was a card? Apparently it's a powerful deck.
And where is this deck now?
That's a good question. I don't think I have it on me. I can't check. If you just undo these bindings, I'll check my pockets.
Oh, absolutely not, until I work out how you got here.
Where is here?
I said that already. You're in my abode, in my university, in my library.
Is it still near Gesseract?
Oh, no.
Londinium?
Not yet.
I haven't gone further than Londinium.
It is not of the world.
Londinium? Okay.
It is outside of that realm. But, for now, that's where it sits.
Do you know about Loki?
Oh, yes.
Do you know why he wants to bring about Ragnarok?
That's his business. He has got desires for his own freedom, his own
Emancipation.
I like that one. Yeah, I'll go with emancipation.
Freedom is a nice thing.
Is it though?
Sure would be nice right about
Freedom
now.
freedom is freedom for your own choices, but with its own consequences.
I mean, my own choices led me to you.
And here are the consequences.
Oh.
You belong to me.
What does that entail? More stories?
Oh, no. Definitely not.
I mean, you're a librarian. You said this is a library. I have some books, or I used to have books. I don't know if they're in my pockets.
Yeah, you realize you're not sort of carrying anything. You are
Naked.
Let's go tasteful oil painting naked.
I like it.
You are draped in a certain manner where all your privates are conveniently hidden.
I
My
hate
own
it,
ropes
Ryan.
finding me.
Why?
Ryan, I hate it.
There is
Why?
this bowl of fruit conveniently placed across from the camera angle. To...
There's a lot of forced perspective going on where
Why,
it's just
why
like,
can't he just be unpleasantly naked? Why can't that be a thing?
What do you mean unpleasantly?
Like, for everybody concerned.
I'd like to roll to seduce Neil Arthur. No.
I feel that might require a wisdom save on your own behalf.
Neolitha, tell me...
You're trying to say his name backwards?
Neolitha, show me that dick!
I mean, backwards it's Petotolerain.
Yeah, I'm trying to read it backwards. It's not an easy one.
Petotolerain.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that is not what we're doing right now.
I don't think I have it on me anymore. Sorry.
You see, okay. He looks towards you, and this is the sort of figure where you see the the outline of the figure. You don't see features in the face until you see the sort of the head position. So it's looking square on at you. Can you give me a wisdom save, please?
I can't give you a good one, but 14.
That is not good enough. You are incapacitated.
More so.
You are... Sorry?
Not much difference, but okay.
You are sort of enthralled... Not enthralled, sorry. But you are locked in a state where you are now just sort of... Your thoughts manifest within your own mind, but that's where they remain. Like any thought to try and speak them aloud just has them sort of like rebounding like a light in a room of mirrors around your own mind. And you cannot seem to articulate your own thoughts into an actual speech pattern, and they are just locked inside and just bouncing around and amplifying it to the point where you're getting sort of like a resonance feedback, and it's like your brain is screaming at you.
Lovely.
That doesn't sound like fun.
No. At that, you see him sort of turn and slowly sort of drift pace away from you.
I don't think my enthralling performance worked. I'll just hang there and think about things then.
Okay. Team Wilderness Tracking.
It's us.
I think he's talking to you.
Oh no.
You have lost Poppet's body.
No. We just can't find it. Or maybe this was the plan all along. Now we can just go back to our lives. It's clearly where it wants to be.
The problem solves itself.
It's just, it's return to nature. Dusting hands, walk on.
The circle of life.
Leland, are you feeling the same way?
No, I'm furiously looking for where Poppet has gone.
You've
Okay.
changed.
Can you roll me a fresh survival check?
9.
That is better than your last one, I believe.
It's better than my last one.
You are sort of like scrambling along this pathway, and it's starting to sort of close up in front of you, like it's trying to remove the path from existence. And on the way, you find one of Poppet's shoes.
Poppet wears shoes?
Hey, I've got a trick for this. I want to do something very
Okay.
tricky. I'm going to turn into a wolf. A wolf.
Ooh, okay.
I want to bark at the neighbour's dog for 2 hours.
Just run around and piss on everything in this ley line. Just
Say no more. Yes, no, so I'll turn it into a wolf. Meow. Where's the thing? Who cares? I'll use one. I will smell the shoe. Get scent.
Ah, yes. Okay. Roll me perception. Roll me survival with advantage. Sorry, you got to
yes.
Leland?
You're a wolf now. What is? You went a.
Inside me there are 3 wolves.
All right.
All called Moon.
Awoo!
Moon joke in 2020. What a time to be alive. Luckily I was rolling that with advantage, because one roll was a 1.
You can't
The other
re-roll that.
one-
You're not a halfling.
No, it's true. But I rolled a second dice anyway, which was a 16. So that makes it 18.
Bam.
Bam.
Da-da-da.
You see this sort of wolf sniffing at a shoe and then sniffing at the air and then does the pointer thing where it like nose forward and paw and then starts barreling on. You have got the trail, Hana. You are tracking down Poppet's form and in your wolf form, a little bit better at getting through this wilderness.
Look at me, I'm contributing.
I will run to keep pace with the wolf.
Okay. Hana, actually both of you, can you please roll me constitution saves again, please?
What's the constitution of being a wolf?
I got a 22.
The same, +2.
To shreds, you say.
Two shreds, you say.
I like games.
That's a good look. That's a good look for you.
It's where I belong. Trapped in the spring.
Help me. As we live stream what Goida being, having ambulance officers remove him from a boom mic.
So I got a 3, but that's because I have a +2.
No. Ooh. Ooh.
This dice
Yes,
has betrayed me multiple times tonight. It is going away.
Please take another 7 psychic damage.
Then I rolled a natural 20 on the other dice. No.
You rolled a natural 20 on the dice you just threw away.
No, the replacement.
I know.
No, you see, the replacement dice, Ryan.
Yeah, another 7 points of psychic type damage, and you are slowed down again, but you are maintaining the trail. You are just, and Leland has no issue keeping up.
I'm fine with this. I don't actually know what the big deal is about.
I'm doing this for you.
Roll me wisdom, Hannah.
Oh, for fuck's sakes, no!
Not a save, just a wisdom check.
I just flat out refuse. What are you going to do about it?
Don't be a pussy.
It wasn't a low number. 18.
You notice, like, you can hear the sound of Leland sort of, like, trudging up behind you. And as he gets closer and closer to you, you feel like the brambles sort of move away and free up a little bit. Almost like they retract away from the pathway.
And specifically just for him?
Well, as he gets closer to you, you sort of get freed up as well. Just by proximity. Like it's and from the wisdom save you got there, wisdom check you got there, it's either they're repelled by him or they're moving away with intent.
I get that a lot. They're repelled by me.
Cool. Well, I'll stick a bit close to him then to make it a bit easier to move.
I could ride you like a horse.
No.
Come on, it'll be great. It'll be beautiful. It'll be freeing. Majestic. It'll be like it's painted on velvet.
The stallion that mounts the world.
Sure. Like one leg up in the air, like I could just ride on your back.
So I'll stop, let him do that, then move on slightly each time so he falls over.
Alright, well I will walk alongside then.
As you sort of, you move along, you see that Hana is having an easier and easier time of making it, and you guys basically start making your normal pace. And there's no inhibition of your travel as you move along. You continue traveling along, and every now and then you see like a hint of Poppet, like a little bit of his. I'm pretty sure he's got a shaven head. Is that right, James?
Yes.
You see like the glint of a shaven head, or you see some of the colours of his uniform. But there was sort of a little sort of tease off in the distance, but confirmation that you're following on the right track. You guys travel on, then also just burst forth into a clearing. This is a wide clearing, and you would say it would look something like a sea of grass, like it would look like a real like prairie or like a real like a grassland, tall grass of about sort of 3-4 foot high. And it looks like it's sort of blowing in the breeze, but it is all blacks and greys, and it looks like it's all made of fire. Like thin slivers of like fire. Think of like each blade is like a candle flame, but stretched out to 4 feet long. And they are just whipping along like they're being moved by a breeze that you cannot seem to feel.
Does this seem very familiar to me?
Roll me a wisdom on this one.
16.
Did you add another number to it?
You could subtract it. If your number is a lower number, like not a really good stat, it could reduce that roll. I have never been stabbed through the internet, but I imagine it's going to happen soon. But it does seem... Oh, God. He's got a knife. Everyone run. yes, it does seem quite familiar. That's a cool looking knife.
Oh, this place looks dangerous, but what Ross hears is bark, 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 bark.
Hannah, this is a fucking weird ass place that you're seeing right now. Leland, you are seeing something that looks like the terrascape that you guys escaped as you left the university. Now that it's sort of reached an equilibrium. Like, you saw it in the throes of basically going violently out of balance when you last saw this place. And now it's made it's at a new level. It's significantly darker and more on fire.
Is it like the flames? Are they actually like hot to touch, or
No.
or like very like gingerly sort of like poke at it and sort of?
It's not hot. It does hurt though. It's like a I'm not sure if you've okay. Get a paper cut and then drop it in salt water.
I don't want to do that.
That's the sensation when you grab hold of these blades. And there is a field of that ahead of you.
Seems problematic.
What you do also see ahead of you is against the sort of the gentle movements of this whole thing, which is just sort of like moving with just this again unknown breeze. Like, you cannot feel it against your face. You don't feel any sort of movement of air, but this whole thing is like waving like it's like a breeze is running across this field.
Okay.
There is one pathway of grass that is being pulled the other direction and is snaking its way across. And every now and then you see a glint of Poppet's head. And you can see that there are just like cut marks that are just slowly got runs of blood coming through them as he's being dragged through this razor grass area.
Should I mark damage on the body or?
Let's not worry what's happening to your body right now.
Is there like a?
He was already injured.
It's not good.
Is there like a trail of like tramped down grass? Where
You
it's
can
been
sort of
pulled?
see a pathway that has been followed, and it is sort of snaking its way through.
Is that pathway damaging like the rest of it is?
It is, but not as much. Like, you don't seem to make contact with it as much. So, essentially, like, what hits, like... Okay. How do you investigate this? So it's just so I can... Rather than me just, like, telling you what's going to happen...
Yeah, finding the spot where like the trail, like where it's sort of like as like the obviously this path has been started. I'd like just gingerly touch at that to see if that's safe to walk upon.
Well, there's about a body width of area that's basically been dragged down and crushed down to the ground.
Yes.
That underfoot doesn't seem to be causing you any damage. But as you sort of like take a pace in there, everything that sort of whips against like the backs of your hands and like through like any sort of exposed skin on your arms or anything like that cuts like a knife. In fact, it quite literally cuts like a knife.
Oh no.
4 points of slashing.
Ooh. Okay.
And you've got these little tiny little sort of like razor blade style cuts across the back of your hands and arms. Basically, yeah, any sort of exposed skin has been razored by these leaves.
I will psychically say to Hana, can you be a person again, just real quick?
Well, I was never a person, so I don't know how to do that. Also, drow, you racist.
Drows are people too.
No, they're
Drows,
not.
technically. Yeah, turn to a drow.
Do you still have the flying carpet in the bag of holding?
I don't know.
I believe you do.
Did you manage to hack the password to?
Hang on. Sorry, the neighbour's dog is being real barky tonight too. Yeah, I believe I cracked the code.
You would have heard it many times.
It's a lot of whistles and tunes.
All right.
And you've heard over the last sort of month or so. You've heard a lot because you're doing a lot of aerial reconnaissance for a while there together. So, yeah, you've got enough to be able to get this thing into some sort of rudimentary state of motion.
Just don't go for any loop-de-loops.
You won't be doing any sort of intricate controls that Poppet's capable of, but you certainly can get it off the ground and moving.
I think that's our ticket. That's our ticket. And we'll just fly straight towards where we're seeing it.
What I will get you to do, though, is roll a performance roll for me.
If you burn my carpet.
The person controlling the carpet.
If you burn my carpet.
It's not going to be the highest difficulty, but I want to see what happens if you fail dismally.
Let's lose 2 wondrous items today.
I mean, I could give it a go if I've been hearing that as well. Like,
if that's the case, take it with advantage, Goyder.
Can I help? Can I help?
That's where he's getting the. This is the assist. This is getting the help.
I'm like massaging your shoulders. You can do this.
I'm also going to cast guidance. This is going to be so bad.
Double ones.
Wasn't that bad, everyone? Wasn't that bad? 19.
19.
15 plus 2 plus 2.
Again, you're not doing any sort of like aerial tricks. You're getting this off the ground. You're able to steer it. You're able to maintain altitude, and you're able to land it at the other side of this field.
I've inverted the y-axis, so it's a bit unusual for me.
It's like, and trying to just like take off a little bit further. Oh god, why are we nosediving?
How can people use controllers like this?
I don't know, it's bizarre. Leland, can you roll me a perception check while you guys are travelling across?
11.
11?
11.
As you're flying across, you see off to your sort of left-hand side, there are like this 3 or 4 like large creatures that are amongst this grass. And they are large bovine looking creatures that are just made of this sort of purple black fire.
You should go and milk them.
Again, a familiar but definitely different version of what you had seen in the past. This is the House of Mirrors creepy version of the whole bit where you guys came to the university in the first place, the college in the first place.
Just sort of as we're flying, somewhat, I sort of look around to see. Do I see where the university sort of stood? Anywhere?
You remember up ahead there was that forest, and last time you came along, you dealt with a pixie or a sprite. Well, Poppet dealt with a pixie or a sprite inside a mushroom ring to basically grant entry through.
Yeah, and I stepped through as well.
Sorry?
Mm-hmm. And I stepped through as well.
Mm.
All right.
And you are now basically where the carpet has landed, is at the edge of that woods.
So we didn't actually catch up to Poppet.
No, Poppet's. You know that Poppet's form has basically been dragged on beyond into that forest. But you know, you Leland, know where you are now.
Yeah, this is the corrupted. This is the Feywilds. I'm saying this to Harmon. This is the Feywilds that we were trapped in for that afternoon that we were gone for.
That little jaunt.
Yeah,
that 3-week afternoon.
This is that place.
Now both of you have elf blood. Some of you got like half a serving of elf blood. Some of you are full-blooded elf. And
like,
this
Goyder's more like Elf Zero.
Elf Max.
So you're both
I'm more like Diet Elf.
just 2 calories. But no, you both of you with your sort of Fey ancestry are familiar with the Fey. Like you have like this sense of the Feywilds. You know when you're near things of the Fey, and you get kind of like the pins and needles and cold chill down your spine version of that feeling right now. And it's persistent. Like, you know this is Fae, but you know this is not Fae.
Fake Fae.
Real Fae gone
Can't
bad.
believe it's not Fae.
Faux Fae.
Faux Fae faux. Fee Fae
fi,
faux
fo
fum. There we go. We found the joke, guys. Yeah. And you're at the edge of this forest. This forest it starts off fairly sparse and then becomes thicker and thicker into quite a thicket. The floor is littered with like these toadstools and puffballs. There are sort of these gnarly looking like really old willow-looking trees, to the point where the actual trunks look like they've been burnt several times over from forest fires. The actual branches are, for the most part, the leaves have all sort of died off and pulled away. This is a gnarly ass-looking tree. This is the sort of thing you'd see in a Tim Burton horror movie. But yeah, as you try and peer into the forest, you can only see maybe 10 meters in before just thicket is all you can see.
I guess we or I start in where we think Poppet is going. Follow that Poppet.
We've been doing that for what feels like hours, days.
And
Yeah,
look where
that's
it's
not
gotten you.
He's right, we should go back.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
Leland, you start leading a path following what you can see of where Poppet's been dragged. And you see like the trail of destruction of you see some like mashed toadstools as you go through. A couple of there's these brown sprays of spores where some puffballs have been gone over the top of. That basically just look like this 2 meter long just streak of spores dragged across this mouldering mossy floor. The whole ground sort of it feels like you're walking on like a wet carpet. It is soggy, but it also has that sort of stench of extreme rot, and not just the rot of like vegetable matter. It almost smells like rotting blood.
Gross.
And you keep following this pathway, and you follow it for 5-10 minutes, and keep following it, and then pop back out of the forest about 5 meters away from where you entered.
Doing that thing again.
That whole thing again.
Dun, 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 dun.
How did we do this last time? Wasn't really paying attention. There was a...
You hear the trees just creaking. Again, sort of moving to this unnoticeable breeze. While you think about that, Poppet,
Yes.
you have been, for an unknown amount of time, just had this one thought in your mind that just seems to be just like bouncing around your brain, and that's just like pinging off every side. It's giving you a splitting headache.
Not used to thinking.
It's just whatever your last thought was is just getting amplified and bounced around your own brain. And then all of a sudden you can you can stop that, and then the very next thing, like it's that whole thing of like, don't think of a pink elephant, and then all of a sudden you're just thinking of a fucking pink elephant.
Yeah.
And now for the next 10 minutes, you just have the rebounding, reverbing resonance of pink elephant bouncing around your brain. It is uncomfortable and maddening. Can you give me a wisdom save, please?
Sure can. That's a 7?
You have 1 point of exhaustion.
Okay. This is fine.
One thing you do, for a moment there, like you've got this thought bumping through your head of the last time that you had a cup of tea. And that is just bouncing around your head, and all of a sudden it just sort of stops, and you have this, you have the briefest, ever so briefest moment of just silence and serenity.
Good cup of tea will do that.
And then you feel like pain across your limbs, and that's jarring because at that point you realize that you haven't felt anything on your extremities since you've been here. Like there has been a distinct absence of any form of haptic sensation. But then you do that thing where you wiggle your fingers and you can't feel your fingers wiggling. But you can feel like the backs of your hands have sort of cut up, and you can feel like little slivers of pain across your scalp and across your cheeks. But when you sort of move your face, you can't sort of isolate where they're at.
That's
But you're getting pain from a body that you don't have. And for the briefest moment, that is giving you some clarity of mind. It is shocking you back into this current reality. And then all of a sudden you remember tripping over as a 3-year-old child and skinning your knee, and that memory starts bouncing back around your brain again for the next
Wonderful.
wonderful period of time.
Yes. This is fine.
Leland,
So,
have you had a little think about how you guys got through last time?
I remember there was a circle of mushrooms,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember a tree told us what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I find a tree, like sort of like trying to picture one that was sort of like in a little bit, and I like kick it in the trunk, and I'm like, are you one of these talking trees?
Yes.
Okay. You find one of the trees that looks particularly gnarled.
Mm-hmm.
And give it a good old kick at the base. And you hear sort of the sound of boughs creaking above you. And then you hear this tiny little voice that's like,
Bowels creaking?
boughs. What did I say?
Definitely bowels.
Like with poop. Like with poop.
That's. I may have tried to overemphasize the ow sound, and it might have given a bit of an L sound at the end. That is definitely not my intention. I'm talking about large branches, not small intestines. You hear this tiny little voice. It's like, do that again, and that'll be the end of you.
Fair enough. Are you one of these? You're. I'm addressing this tree. Am I not? Hello.
Why is he giving you power, you blithering idiot?
Oh, who's got your number?
He works in mysterious ways. What can I say? Look, you obviously you know who I am. You can sense radiating off of me the dark, unsettling powers that have been bestowed. Where's the way in? Where's the way in around here? Just point me in the direction, and I'll
Offering.
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 What are you looking for in an offering these days?
Entertain me.
Just tell him your life story.
Well, there's a drow over here. How does that go for entertaining? Look at it. Look at its hair. They're ridiculous, right?
I just stand there completely passive, not moving.
Is this your tight five? Are you guys, or is this more of a Netflix special?
Yeah.
What are we going for here?
Yeah. Look. I've been workshopping it around. I'm thinking it's either going to be like cancelled or triggered.
The Spider King,
something like that. Yeah, the Spider King. There we go. Look. I really wasn't prepared for like an improvisation session with a fucking tree right now. So look, I just need to get into the.
Who said I was a tree?
Oh, you're the weird little gnome thing. Are you dark and twisted? Are you like an edgelord version of yourself in this place?
I would say I'm new and improved. Now, entertain me. Or die.
Some extremes there, Mr. Tree.
When you put it like that,
Single sip.
what have I got in my bag?
Oh, look at this! This book of party tricks.
Amazing. Look, I'm not particularly in the position of entertaining an unseen audience. So if you could, I don't know, apparate and reveal yourself, just so that I can sort of, have like a rapport and a back and forth with the audience. You know how it is.
We found performers are better when they don't know where we are.
Well,
Now,
that's just bollocks.
Entertain us.
What's happening here?
Look, it's not.
You can hear this quite clearly.
I
You can hear
know.
these-
I'm talking like, what's happening? Like,
Look, it's corrupted Feywild shit. You know Feywild. You know Feywild shit. It's
I'm
like
aware of
that.
Feywild shit.
It's like that, but less fun.
You hear another voice chirp up, and it's off to your shared left hand side. And like, yeah, make us laugh, make us cry, do what you need to do, but make it good.
I'll just roll my performance check of +2.
Don't be that shit.
Oh, but I rolled a natural 20. What did you do last time you said you were here?
Poppet did the talking last time you were here.
This is all testing Poppet, and he was on like a bard kick at the time, so he was, I don't know, playing fucking songs or something.
And James has just messaged me really fucking nailing the theme that I'm going for here. I love it.
I like haphazardly cast dancing lights and then don't really dance at all. Okay. He'll amaze you. He'll daze you. Leland.
Oh, well.
Goes like red light, like maybe a green one, like goes bonk into his head. And it flips off, like,
The lights just slightly shift to the left,
It's like-
slightly shift back to the right.
yep.
They're just standing in the corner nodding.
And the dancing lights fire up, and you throw to Leland, and you hear these like couple little tiny little golf claps as expectantly waiting.
I'm helping.
Yeah, someone cough in the distance.
There's a little tiny little.
Look, I can also create a tiny, harmless sensory effect. Do these tree things, they have like flower blossoms, seed pods, something like that on them at all?
They both. Well, the one that Leland kicked the bottom of, it looks like a real gnarly old willow. So it's basically long, drooping down branches that are sort of curled and gnarled at the end. The base is sort of looks like it's weathered several natural disasters of fire and flood, and still survived. So it's looking ragged, but hardy.
Like one of the branches.
As far as any foliage, any leaves that used to exist on it are long rotted off.
I'll sort of like turn to Hana, sort of conferring. Say, have you got that deck of cards that Poppet had earlier?
Yes, a card trick. Yes,
Now-
magicians.
Did I take? I thought he took it back.
It was in my pocket.
Yeah, so he's got
So
it.
it was on his body. So I mean, we had it there.
And then he collapsed. I legitimately don't know if we took that or not. Can't remember.
You took the ring.
I had the deck in my actual pocket. I was drawing the cards from the pocket.
Okay,
it
so
never
it's still.
actually-
So you've got a deck of cards. Oh wait, no. Okay, we don't have your body anymore.
No, I don't have his body.
Damn.
I
it.
also had a lot of instruments.
I was trying to remember if you took the cards or.
No, you don't have on them. I'd have a thing of cards.
All right.
You hear a third little voice. Show me what you got.
Show me what you got.
I'll,
Shit in
I
your
want to
pants.
see what you got.
I'll,
Look, it's a scientist. He's a pickle.
I fucking hate that
I'll
episode.
take the
It's the funniest shit you ever saw. He's a
That's the
pickle.
worst.
I'll take
Confirm.
the deck of cards that you've got, just a regular deck of cards,
They are 100% regular, normal cards.
marked to shit. Yep. All right. I'll start shuffling them.
James, prepare the deck of many things that you've got. We've got them, boys.
All right. Like shuffling the deck of cards. I don't know whether it is a deck of many things cards right now.
It is not.
It's not. Okay. I'm going to need a volunteer from the audience to do this magical trick.
Okay, you hear, like, there's a couple of little sort of whispering voices sort of conversing between each other, just sort of low enough where you can hear the voices, but not enough to make out the words.
And I'll, like, as I'm getting the cards from Hana, I'll just be like, be ready for, what you do.
I'll just grin.
The sort of the whispering is gives way to the sound of, like, roots pulling out of the ground as that gnarled willow steps forward slowly towards you and then sort of leans. And this is about a 25-foot tree. It sort of bends at the middle and leans down to the point where it's like folds at like basically almost a 90-degree angle at the center of the trunk and leans over the top of you and it's just like. And this long branch reaches out slowly towards you, reaching towards this deck of cards in your hand.
I believe we have someone from our audience. Again, more dancing lights.
I'll fan out the cards and I'll say, please select the card and do not show it to me.
Okay, how are you presenting these cards?
Like fanned out, like a magician would fan
Like
out
a
cards.
like a professional ass fucking magician. Okay, this long branch sort of reaches forward, and these a couple of like twiggy protrusions at the end of it sort of like reach out and try and sort of like fumble it, and it's basically grabbed maybe about a third of the deck and just like grabbed it and like holding it, like pulls it, it scoops up towards an area where you assume a head would be on an actual like bipedal creature, but it's just like a cluster of where the branches and so forth are, and just like holds it up right in front of this spot and it's like, and is just staring at these cards.
All right, so like doing the whole patter and the magician style thing, like I think Leland's probably been a bit like dazed and down, but now he's in a moment and a performance thing.
You
so
got a
maybe
charlatan
like,
background as well, haven't
he'll
you?
like flick into it and just sort of like as second nature, just be like, all right. So if my lovely volunteer here could just remember that card and maybe share it with the rest of the audience. Don't show it to me. Very important. Do not let me know what that card is.
You remember he's got like 20 cards in his hand currently.
Yeah, I'm just going with it.
You sort of see it like hold the deck of cards, the handful of cards it's got to a point on a branch nearby, and then sort of slowly grows this branch back towards you.
All right. I'll like put it back into the deck, and then I'm holding it out at arm's length. Now I am going to need to place these cards somewhere safe where I will not be able to get at them. Has anybody got any suggestions for such a place? Anybody at all?
We hear a little voice like, "Throw them up here."
I'm gonna need to see somebody.
Fine. And this little sprite appears, sort of perched up on one of the branches. It's a very humanoid looking thing, but it's got like a much more round face with just like the full width of his head is just like his wide, toothy maw with like several rows of teeth, like shark teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like this sort of gossamer style wings, a see-through sort of a whole effect. But yeah, it's also got a very tiny longsword and crossbow.
Yep. So I've got the deck of cards like held out in my left hand.
Mm-hmm.
Holding it out in the direction, sort of in front of myself like this, like just
Toss them up.
Please, I'm like holding them out at arm's length for the sprite to come collect.
He's like, any funny business?
As you can tell from our show, it is not funny at all.
I was under the impression that funny business is what we were going for today.
Any funny business? And you're going to be plant food. And he sort of flutters the wings and flits down to your hand.
As soon as he is close to my hand, I am going to, with my right, draw my silver dagger and hold it up to its neck. In like one movement.
And to that, I'll draw out both my swords and point them at his head as well.
Okay.
So that was my thing. That was my plan. That was look. This is all off the cuff right now. I didn't really have anything prepared.
Nope, it's good. It's good. Okay. Roll intimidation.
Oh, I'm pretty good at that. With advantage, right?
Since Hana also drew swords, I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, because that was one. Because that was a 1. So much better. I got a 12.
A 12.
12.
You see this little sprite with a knife at its neck, and it's just this wide ass little smile, I guess we would call it. It's just sort of looking at you. There's a cocked head with this grin going on. It's like, you are as dumb as you look.
Hey.
Lads.
Hey.
He's got your number.
Okay.
And sorry, there's a second part to this.
Okay.
And I guess I'm gonna be rolling a sleight of hand check.
Okay.
While he's looking at the dagger, I'm going to palm the card that the tree was looking at off the bottom of the deck. And, so I've got the dagger at its throat, and I'm going to sort of just slide the card that the tree had selected, down its back.
Down the back of the pixie?
Of the pixie.
Oh, the sprite?
Yeah.
Alright, roll me a sleight of hand check. Unfortunately, Hana can't support you on this one.
No. I got a +6 in sleight of hand. Because this is actually supposed to be the thing that I do. So let's, it's a big one. I got a 19.
Nice.
Okay. You do as you presented then. You palm that one off the bottom of the deck.
I'm
and,
imagining when I got the deck put back together,
you'd already palmed it. Yeah. And this thing here is basically you got the knife to the throat, and then the other one is just tucked like a folded card down the back of his down the back of his collar.
Yeah.
What's your play at this point, or should I carry on with the next part that I was going to do?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Can you roll me initiative, please?
Hold on.
And you, Hannah.
I know, I'm rolling dice. Just having a laugh.
You should just use the Ring of Animal Friendship on the sprite.
That's not how this works.
Just use it on everything. That's definitely not
It's
a thing
how
it will work on.
works. It's how the ring works. I've shown you this. I've taught you.
You've taught him at least 4 different things that it doesn't work on.
Exactly. This could be lucky number 5.
Leland,
I got a 16.
16. And Hannah?
17.
17. Oh no. Okay.
Just so we're all on the same page, do you want to get Hana to do a perception check or something to see if she noticed the trick?
Yes,
I
please.
played?
You need to do a perception check over, what did you roll, a 19?
Yeah.
Would passive perception kick in then? Or would that just be a normal thing?
Passive perception wouldn't pick up on... actually... I would say yes. Passive perception would kick in on this one.
Okay, that's 20, so that's why I
Okay.
asked.
So you... Yeah, nice. You do sort of spot the fact that he has done some card trickery. You don't know the exact details, but you know that somehow there has been a card tucked into the back of this sprite's.
See the trick with the magic is you make them look over here when they should be looking over here.
Where I'm stabbing you in the stomach.
By drawing a dagger on the thing. Look, Leland never really did well as a party magician. I've got to tell you, it's
Oh, you're doing okay so far. About to start combat, everything's working perfectly well.
Okay. The treant above you, Leland, starts moving at a fairly remarkable pace with a couple of the limbs to your general area.
So you're talking about a foot an hour? Because that's still pretty remarkable for a tree. Or
like
are we
I'm
talking
amazed if it.
So the tree has
What
higher initiative
is your
than you.
AC? 14.
40.
One of them hits.
Oh no! Can I? Have I used my thing? My wing wall? Hold on, I have a thing. Oh wait, I'm not really using my magic right now, so never mind. Not really using my magic at the moment.
Oh, you're lucky.
I
You're a
am.
lucky man. I rolled 3 dice, and none of them were good. Alright. That is 11 points of bludgeoning, as this thing pummels you from basically on high in a single swipe with a long sort of beam of timber.
Yeah.
How you doing, buddy?
Hurt?
Hurt?
Yep.
Hannah, it's your turn. You have seen Leland do a trick and then get punched by a tree. It has not been the most receptive of audiences so far.
But not the
so far
worst
it's
he's
pretty
ever
fun.
had.
Anyway, so I attack the sprite and start attacking. Attack everything. No, I will hold my action
Yeah.
until the sprite... I guess if the sprite that's currently on here makes any aggressive move or... Yeah, a great aggressive move, I will attack.
Sure. Leland.
So I've just been clobbered by a fucking tree.
Yep.
I will spit like a huge gob of blood out.
Of probably your ear.
Hey, you
I'll
skipped by a tree.
And I'll gesture at the tree that just punched me, and sort of point at the sprite and say, "Was that your card?"
And I'm assuming the cards are sort of like perched on the back of his thing,
poking out of the
open.
back, yeah. Was that your card?
Okay. The sprite that's on your that's at your knife, you see him sort of like back up slightly because, well, actually, when you got clobbered, he stopped basically being held at knife point because you've basically been knocked down. He's just sort of floating, flying in space, and he sort of like spins around and then spins back around, trying to see this card that it now realizes is stuck to his back. And you hear these sort of laughs coming from across the trees as a whole, and you're hearing like probably 8, 9, 10 individual voices laughing their ass off at this whole scenario. You hear a couple like whistles, and slowly just popping into existence, you just see a throng of sprites that are just littered along all the way around the higher points of these trees, and it's just like, now we can take a hit. Look at all the blood that came out of him. It's coming out of his nose. Oh, I think that's a little bit of brain coming out of his ear.
And I'm like doing the winded like bent over double thing, and like sort of trying to gracefully like turn that into like a deep bow.
A couple of us like
bracing my head and trying to like play it off as a dab.
I hit him because of the dagger.
What do you do, Hannah? Are you doing anything at this point? You still had a held action.
Dancing lights, then.
Definitely nothing. Nothing aggressive is happening currently, which is kind of your trigger situation. But at the same time, you are just getting
I'll do a
both heckled and applauded simultaneously here,
I'll do a
Leland.
somersault and go ta-da.
Ta-da!
It's a wasted ass.
The willow treant in front of you, sort of like reaches for as like plucks the sprite that's hovering in front of you by its little wings and holds it back up at that same looking position, just looking at the card at the back of the of this sprite, and it's like, and then puts it back down and tries to sort of like place it in your hand like it's one of the cards as well as the sprite, and it's like, and you can see this sort of slow nodding motion. For the record, you're out of combat initiative order at this point. Because they are entertained because you managed to survive a punch from a treant.
Yeah, you did it.
The card trick
I'm like,
was probably just more like a little bit of flavor for the punch.
I'm like wiggling one of my teeth. Oh man.
Number 3.
Uh,
But the treant that drew the card sort of stands back upright and like takes like 3 or 4 paces backwards and to the left. And you see like a path just opening up, and another willow to the right. So it makes the same sort of motion. There's a second treant that hadn't moved yet. Then while it's stationary, you had no idea. But it takes a couple of paces backwards as well, and you see like the whole path just sort of like open up, like someone turned on a light down along the corridor, and you see this wrought iron, sort of a little bit bent and melted wrought iron gate, but that is there and opened up, and you see the central quad of a university. And you see in the middle of it, right smack bang in the middle, leaning up against what would have been a water fountain back in the day, is Poppet's form, just sort of leant up against his feet, just sort of at almost like sort of probably about a 45-degree angle outwards each way. His whole body just sort of slumped forwards, but just sitting there, leaning up against a fountain in the middle of the quad, entirely alone.
all right. Well, let's.
And the only sound you can make out is the minor key sound of bells ringing in the bell tower.
Bong, 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 bong.
And that's where we'll leave it for tonight.
Dun, dun, dun. And if you like that mess, you can find more of our junk on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube, or contact us at isolatedcitygaming@gmail.com.